You're tuned into the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. And now, here are your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower. Oh, what's going on, racers? Hey, this is a special Friday night edition of the Northwest Race Report. It's a Slideways Saturday kind of pre-race show we thought we'd do for you. Try to change it up, do something crazy. And joining me live via the phone is Northwest Race Report co-host Double M Mike Mikelson. What is going on, Mikey?
Oh, Terry, we got the pre-race jitters, just waiting for tomorrow. It's going to be a great day.
It is going to be a great day. First of all, let's talk about the weather, because we don't need to worry about the weather. The weather is not an issue. We're indoors, right? So no issue.
It is a non-factor. That's right.
Non-factor. So the place should be packed, don't you think?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I do too. I really do. So Slideways Saturday, as you know, tomorrow. It's going to be gates open at 8 o'clock, and that's registration will be until 10. So that's 2 hours. So hopefully everybody gets there and gets themselves squared away. We're hoping for a good turnout, but I'm looking. I hear the Williamsons might not be there, which is a kind of a huge blow because they run 2 classes actually. So
right.
Yep. You heard the same thing, I understand, right?
I did. Yep. The old Facebook stream.
Yeah.
Tony was just saying, they didn't think they'd be able to make it 2 weeks in a row, which I get. It's tough.
Right.
But we'll miss those guys.
Absolutely. But, then that waives the question of, so that means more than likely, I'm just guessing here, but I don't, because I know Renee said she was coming, but possibly not with the UAS ride. And so that's probably going to mean no UAS carts there this weekend.
Yeah, it really could, and I hate to see that because I like watching those guys so much. I wish there was a way that we could figure out to get, a full field of UAS carts every week. It would just be fantastic.
Yeah, or at least some open stuff, we were talking earlier. The UAS is like that's the premier. There's the big boys anyway. I don't know if it's premier for the fact of numbers, but that's like going to a Fast Friday at Portland Speedway and not having any late models.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right.
Right? It's just almost kind of a letdown in a way. But I guess it's early. I was just sitting downstairs talking to my wife a little bit ago, and we were talking about, oh, yeah, she's got this vacation days and that vacation days, and she's thinking, yeah, and the first year. And I said, God, you know what? It's going to be BK time before we know it. It's right around the corner.
Absolutely. No, you're right. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, it's just going to go so quick. But so tomorrow, gates open at 8. You have 8 till 10, and then I think you get on the racetrack at 11. Drivers' meetings at 10:15. And so we got Kyler Culver. Yeah, I'll see you there too for sure. So what's that mean for? Are we expecting a lot of Predators to be there? Culver will be there, so that means both he and Nate will be there. But what are you thinking? Numbers wise.
Well, honestly, Terry, I was kind of surprised the first week that we didn't have more. And I know I talked to a few people and. The Goodings, I believe, Terry, there's a couple injuries in their crew, so they didn't bring a couple carts, and I think it'll get bigger, but that's another class that I'd like to see, 12 or 15 carts show up. It just shows good growth for the sport when we got that kind of class growing.
Yeah, for sure. There's just no doubt about it that it's good for the sport. So you're going to be, so obviously then you're not going to be running the Predators, right?
No, I'm not going to do the Predator. When I get the new cart put together, we'll probably put a Predator on the cart that I'm running now in the 206 class. But it's going to be tough. I'd love to do 3 classes. I'd love to run light and heavy, both 206 and a Predator, but I don't know if that's feasible, man.
Right.
That's a lot of jumping around and not having time to work on your stuff, and another $40 at the gate. There's just a lot of things that make it tough. So there might become a time where I, run the Predator and just run heavy in 206. We'll just have to kind of see how it plays out.
Sure. I mean, two things I see with that. Well, even though the Predators are supposed to be a non-think class, right? I mean, it was just, you think, well, gosh, it's nice for the guys that are serious to go get on a Predator.
Right.
And not have to think about it. They can just go out and roll. But I guess no matter what you're rolling, you're always thinking about tuning something up, right? So
well, and with the engine package the way it is in that class, you got to have your stuff right if you want to run up front. I mean, look at the guys that run up front. It's a good group of guys. Finch and the Culvers are, super tough to beat. You got to have your stuff's got to be spot on. So
right, and then you throw
out and running's one thing, but running up front is a different thing.
Correct, and I agree. So there's always, no matter what you're gonna do or what it is, if you want to run up front, you got to think. That's just all there is to it.
You got to be on your game.
Yeah, for sure. So okay, so that means we'll probably see the Finches and Culver. I don't know if Weber will show up or not. I hope so, but
yeah, I hope so too. And I know he's a long ways away, but there was some rattling during the week. He was looking for some wheels and tires, so I think he's trying to make it. So hopefully he'll show up.
Well, here's kind of my take on that a little bit. Is if there's a will, there's a way. There's plenty of people going down. So I mean,
right.
There's trailers galore. I'm sure if you throw them a little bit, so it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, gas and everything. But and a lot of people, I mean, probably my guess is they would take it down for nothing if they're going. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, sure, you offer them to do it, but still, if you get them down there, I don't know.
Well, you're right. And Alan Waldall's taken my stuff down a couple times, and I try to give him some gas money and stuff, and he's like, dude, I'm going down anyway.
Right.
And I get that, but I'm just,
right.
I want to help out.
Sure.
But he's right. The truck's going down anyway.
Exactly. And so more than likely they're going to say, hey, don't worry about it. And man, if it's another racer at the track or at the gate, let's get them down. I know that's, so I don't know. Maybe that's an option that we could explore, maybe working on some sort of a caravan,
cool,
that'd be a unique deal. That could get some real press if you come up with a unique deal where, hey, here's what we're doing to beat the expense game is we're carpooling and getting everybody down and cuts their fuel bill in half and everybody's there and hey, it's
exactly
good stuff. But, so then we got the 206s, which is light and heavy. So light is 380. And they call it the Sumo, which is kind of I don't know if I would call it that or not, but that's 430. God, that's like UAS weight, man. That's like for a 450 or something.
Yeah, it is, and I think the whole idea, we could spend a whole show going about it.
Right.
The idea is some of these guys, they're at that weight already without adding any weight.
Correct.
So, that was kind of the idea of the thing. And, is that class specifically going to grow huge? Probably not, but it gives the bigger guys somewhere to go run with their buddies and have fun.
Right.
I honestly had, I think, a better time running with the regular 206s, and I wasn't up front, but I wasn't in the back. So I had a good time, and it's just nice to get the laps.
How much are you over?
I put on about 15 pounds to meet the 430.
Okay, but when you run light, what are you over? Are you over the 380, or do you come in?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm about 415-ish, right in there.
With no weight on?
With no weight.
Holy moly! I mean, it's just hard for me to fathom that because I mean, back in the day, heavy was 350. And everybody thought that was 2-ton Tilly. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean.
No, I hear you.
I just don't get it. I don't. The carts don't. Well, I guess you start adding body work and all this stuff. Right. I mean, I guess it does kind of add up. But so really your main class is going to be light, correct? Is that the one?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to. I mean, that's what I want to run in. That's where we get, the 8 to 10, 12 carts. We're hoping to get up to 20, at some point this year, because there's still a couple people with things in the works. So we're hoping to really get that class up to the 20 mark. I think that would be awesome if we could have a B main.
Sure.
In a class on a Saturday. That would be a win for Jason and the class and everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool. I mean, I don't even think you'd really need a B main. With 20 guys, 20 guys would be easy on that. I mean, they only start 14 at the BK, but I or 16 maybe, but I mean, it could easily hold 20. I just think they do it, I mean, because these guys are so quick, right? So,
well, and that's the thing, not to diss on the 206 guys by any means, but the carts are a little bit slower.
Right. I mean, it can handle 20, but I mean, still, it would be cool. You have a B main, last chance. It puts some urgency on being dialed in, not just, hey, I'm going to make the show. So,
yep.
I get that. So, okay. So, but light is your main one, right? Is that the one you're going to be really working on? I mean,
yeah. I mean, if I had to, if I was going to run a Predator, I would probably run the light 206 and then, run a Predator, just so I wasn't running 3 classes.
Right.
And I don't know if only like 3 heavy guys show up. I don't know if those 3 guys are going to want to run 3 or if they're just going to want to, run the light class.
Gotcha.
So that might be what happens, but we'll just have to kind of take it week by week.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool. Well, so we all know now does Hatch make the 3? He makes the 380 rule, right? Or he's running in the 206 light, correct?
Yeah, he is. And I don't know, I don't know where he comes in, but
right.
Chris isn't a small guy. I would guess he's probably over even the way he is.
Right.
How fast he is. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So, but I mean, I'm pretty sure. So light is going to be the biggest class, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
The heavy class was just kind of something that a few of us kind of threw together to go out and race with each other and, maybe not be so competitive.
Correct.
Just to go get some laps.
Yeah.
Although Mikey Clark's jumped in it and he just waxed us last time, so
right.
We gotta see if we can catch him.
Well, you said now that Clark is going in for surgery.
Yeah, Mike Clark. I don't know what exactly he's having done,
right.
but he is having some surgery. I think he's going to be out for a while, so I think he's trying to hit tomorrow, and then he's probably going to have to take a little bit of a hiatus and just focus on the kids.
Right. So, are you going to jump in the True Tech car then?
I hope that's the plan. We'll have to do some negotiating.
Yeah, there you go for sure. Well, so Hatch is going to be trouble. Steve.
Yep.
Steve King is. Steve King he's come a long way. He's still kind of lacking that consistency. I think that would make him a major player up front. But yeah, so he'll get things sorted out. And then you got Brian Green, who from week to week, 1 week he's fast, 1 week, but the dirt isn't. I mean, he just comes to play, so he's not as serious as he is on the pavement. But he's a player, so you can't count him out. Let's see here. Jasmine Hildebrand. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Saw the best heat race we ever saw here a couple weeks ago. It was epic. On Sunday. You weren't there, but oh my goodness.
Right.
He and Brian Williamson. So yeah, and then you've got let's see who else. You got Norman King, Green, Hatch.
Finch. I mean,
yeah.
Brandon Finch,
yeah.
super fast.
You think he'll be there? He should be, right?
So.
Yeah,
he should be there.
Yeah.
It's a tough crowd, man. It's the top 5 guys are super fast. So
that's right.
They definitely set the benchmark for everybody else to try to catch. So.
And that's
what we need.
That's
good.
The same reason. And you can base that on. That's why back east it's so tough. It's because it's the same kind of deal. They're in those clones, but okay, clones. The 206, basically the same thing. I mean, they're working on them, but still, they're pretty much all the same. And man, it is. It's awesome, and I think the 206 is huge everywhere now. So I mean, it's
and it's going to continue to grow. I have a feeling.
Yep. Next week on the main show on Wednesday, I've got Stuart Sheridan. A lot of guys probably don't know who he is, but he is he's the new owner administrator of that United States Kart Racing Association, the USKRA.
Okay, yeah,
so,
we talked about that a little bit offline last week.
I got him on because we were going to talk a little bit about his stuff on the show and just totally got with that technical stuff. So he's going to be our guest on there. And then so that should be interesting to find out what that's really all about. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. if another series is, I mean, man, there's just every time you turn around.
Right.
I'm thinking it would be cool to have just one big major thing, right? Where it's just one series, but you're not going to get that because you got some of this. But anyway, so I'm guessing no UAS tomorrow. Okay, so we move on. 206, we get the Predators, Yamaha Heavy. I mean, Kravitz, Brent Meyer, I understand, got his stuff together, going to be out. Scott Keeney, who was last race, was just epic.
Right.
Chris Passanante wasn't there. He was working on his UAS stuff, but with that up in question, he's probably there. I don't even think we need to mention how tough he is. So,
no, absolutely.
Yeah,
right.
both he and Corey Markham and Darren Markham.
Yeah.
You got Brandon Day in the mix. I
Yep.
mean that's a pretty stacked field anyway you look at. Have you thought about doing any Yamaha stuff?
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just I got into the 206, and
Right.
I'm not against it. Anything with a motor, I want to go race.
Well, sure.
Course.
Yeah. Right.
It looks fun. I did it that one time, and
Right.
I jumped in somebody else's stuff, and I didn't fit, and it was weird. And
yeah, I know.
I'd love to give it an honest shot, and see what we can do.
Yeah, that's always a tough. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll have to talk to Phil Fowl, because I know he's got a nice piece there, a very nice piece, and so that might be something to get you in, do some networking and get you in that thing for a ride or two.
Yeah, no, that'd be sweet to at least try it for a week. And it's tough when you're, I'm the person that when I get in somebody else's stuff, I want to bring it back the way it was, not with the top of the piston melted out, or
right. But I think though with somebody right there, I mean, you're not going to go drive like a bonehead, but man, if they tell you to go race it,
right,
you got to go race it. I mean, stuff's going to happen.
No, you do.
But I almost forgot, you got Kravitz in that mix too in heavy, so I don't want to leave him out. He's the defending BK8 champ.
No,
so.
and honestly, Terry, I think they're still learning a lot. I think he's only going to improve.
Correct. I couldn't agree more. And so much though is, you're thinking it's go-kart and it's this and that and the other thing. So much of it is, I think, is just driver maturity, knowing when and when not to, knowing, when you're sitting on it, sometimes that's all you are is a third place car. So to be smart enough to do that.
Right, and you don't get that until you turn laps. That's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
That just comes with time.
Right. I mean, not everybody's going to be Ron Eaton their first time out, right? I mean, that took years and years and years of
absolutely
driving. Yep. Yeah, light. I don't even think the Yamaha light. I don't even know if they should even have that. It's last few times
I know
there's
it
been
seems like the light
nothing.
Guys jump in heavy and.
Yeah,
they roll just as well. I know I talked to Chuck Jones when we were at the shop working this week. And
where's he been?
He's doing some house stuff. He's trying to move and sell his house, and I think he's going to be there. I think we talked him into it. He has just a couple things to do, so I think we're going to see him hopefully because he's a player too.
Oh, yes, he is. I mean, he jumped in that micro and ran really.
Yep.
Should have won that deal, the Lindsey Barney deal. They had that little bounty on her last year, and he really. I mean, there was some mess up there, but he probably should have or could have easily won that deal. But that's
anything he jumps in, man, he just it's fast.
Yeah,
he's just a wheel, man.
And I honestly don't really remember him at Portland that much. I don't know if he ran there quite a bit or didn't, or maybe.
Yeah, he did. No, he ran. He was super competitive in the limiteds, and he did some late model stuff. So he's always been a good shoe.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, just off the crazy whim, was Ross Kusaw back running late models when you were doing it?
Yeah, he ran late models the same year I did.
Yeah,
yep, absolutely.
What a stud! That guy was
good dude.
Really good dude. Really good dude. I mean, I remember as a kid. Just to tell you this quickly, but I was so infatuated with Portland Speedway. It was just crazy. But we looked him up in the phone book one night just to see if it was him, and we called him.
Right.
We called him up, right? Hey, is this Ross Kusal, the one that races at Portland Speedway? I was like, well, and that guy stayed on the phone, with us for, it was easily half an hour. We were asking him all these stupid questions. What's it feel like to, because we were only, we were just little kids, but man, we loved.
Right.
It's like, what's it feel like to do this and do that? But man, he was just, he was awesome.
That's awesome.
He just sat there and
tells you
talked
a lot about a person.
It was so cool. I'll never forget that. It was just a random call, right? And here we were. I'm sure it was good for his ego, but
right.
And I think Waterman came back at one time there late too.
He was in and out a little bit, but yeah, for sure.
Nothing like he was, but I guess age will do that to you. So, and then so we got Yamaha Light, the Yamaha Heavy. We got pretty much all that.
Super sport guys.
Yeah, what do you, Dennis Flint? What do you say to that?
Right. I'm sure the Wootons will be there.
Yep. And then God, why can I never remember his name? He's from oh my goodness, Eagle. What is his name? He's fast. The 11.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember his name either, and we do that every time.
Yeah, and I should know that. Gosh darn it.
Is it Easton?
Yeah, it's Ty Easton. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
And he's always fast.
Right.
That's pretty. Oh, Matt Strebe, what's going on? Yeah, thanks, Matt. I needed that one. That's how you got it. You tuned in, you turkey. So, good stuff.
So, that super sport class, Terry, I don't know how many carts they usually have. It doesn't seem like it's a lot. But Al and I were talking about that. It's a pretty cool class, but I think they're running on like a 5-inch tire.
Right.
It has to be, we were just wondering, what if they opened that up to, say a 6-inch tire? Because that brings in a lot of your burr stuff. And, would that help the class? I don't know. We're just throwing random stuff out there. But.
Well, yeah. Well, here's originally how that came about was the way that whole thing got started was by Wayne Felch. And
okay.
And it started out, they were racing, they raced them at Pat's Acres. Right, and Wayne was out there on a I don't know what he had. He had a Phantom. It was some left turn chassis, and he was out there running on the road race course, right? And so he got a bunch of guys together, and he got it going. Well, as it goes along, there really were no rules, so to speak. So some of the karts were had really good motors, and some didn't, and Wayne was kicking their butt, and he had some good stuff in there. So then other guys started doing that, and pretty soon it just got to be where it was some motors were really fast, some weren't. There was really nothing keeping them in check.
Right.
So they just said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We need to check this thing up a little bit, and so that's what they did. Now, who came up with the tire rule? I don't know. The motor stuff, again, there's really no tech on them. Like Cahill's there. Cahill's dominated that class. From the only guy that's ever given him a run is Flint, and Flint put it to him the last time. So, but we haven't seen the King. He's been I don't know where he's been. I know he signed up for the BK, but he's fast. He is super fast. So. Would that help it? I don't know. I know Burris they still make a 5-inch tire. So I think so. I don't know. According to Mike Burris, the tires that everybody are running are crazy too big anyway. Like an 800 on the right front.
Whoa,
he's going, come on. So
right.
But there's two arguments to that story. So everybody who listened to the show that we had on there, all the hot dog guys, they were basically saying, come on, that's just, that isn't going to.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess it all depends, like everything else. There's a setup that's going to work for everybody. And
well, exactly. Right.
Right. And I've always said all along, all these guys are wanting this, that, it's like until you can hold your foot around there wide open and never lift, number one, you don't need no more motor. And number two,
Right.
you haven't exhausted all the tries you've done on your cart, right? I mean,
Yep, exactly.
so many guys don't learn that, and they just think it's pipe of the week, clutch of the week, setup of the week. What am I?
Right.
Well, you got to try it all. I mean,
Right. Yep.
and prove it to yourself, not just
Exactly.
take your word. Hey, Mikelson said, well, yeah. Well, do you think that's going to work? Well, I don't know. How do you know? Go try it. It might work for him.
Right.
Might not work for you. So, but
Exactly.
but good question. I don't know. That would be I don't know if but there again, 5-inch, 6-inch. What difference does it make if they're all running them? And it's I don't think that's keeping anybody from not coming, or I just think
I've never looked into it. I don't know if 5-inch tires are harder to find, I have no idea. So.
I think that's just a class of the guys that have them already have them. I don't know that somebody's going to go out and want to buy a super sport car. That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
I mean, that's just the group of guys that's there, and they made a class for them. So, but they've been there a long time. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
They sure have. So the super sports, and then we got the junior stuff. So it looks like gonna be a good day of I got Matt Strebe says a verbal 89 entries for the BK already. Still missing tons of the Salem regulars. So if you plan on racing BK9, send me your info. So that's 89.
It's gonna be huge.
Yeah, that's gonna be 89, man. But I remember the first BK, the very BK1 back in, I think it was 2008. And it was, I think there was 100 and I think 20, right? And that was, that included quarter midgets, that included the Yamahas, that was everything. And then the next year it was like it was over 150, almost 160. And I think then it might have been even more than that. I want to say it might even have been more than that. I want to say mid 160, 165 or something like that. And then of course, BK3, we were at Salem, and that one was won by Garrett Thomas. He's the only one to ever win the BK with a 100cc piston port Yamaha.
That's awesome. That's good to see.
Yeah, and I'm sure that will be a record.
Right.
And then Wayne's got some numbers that'll be damn tough to beat too. I mean, number one, he's won it twice. Nobody else has won it twice. And not only did he win it twice, but he won it back to back.
Right, which is even harder yet.
Yeah. So and potentially may have been on his way to win it a third time. But he, there was a big mess. So it was just, but still, he was tough. He was really tough.
Well, I think that's definitely what everybody looks forward to. I mean, that's the pinnacle, right, of the year.
It is. Indoor wise, yes, it is. I mean, how could it not be, really? You know what I mean? I mean,
right.
And I do a ton of races, but I'll tell you, I mean, that one is just, that's my baby, right? I mean, I've been there every one of them. And,
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, from the very gate, and I mean, I can tell you when Renee won the inaugural, and then Ronnie won the next year, and I'm going to tell you, I went to interview. He couldn't even talk. He was so It was just really just super cool. So
no, it's a big deal when you win that. You've done something.
Yeah, absolutely right. And so, it brought Diotti back 3 times. That's how many times it took him to
well,
get it.
I'm anxious to see him this year. It's going to be something to see, because he's going to be going for it.
Yep, you bet. With all the there'll be a lot of snow carbon fiber there represented. I'm sure of that.
Right.
Right. But
for sure.
Just a quick question before we wrap it up here. But are you? What are your take on all this body stuff? I mean, is it? And I'm just playing devil's advocate. I mean, it's nice stuff, and I'm sure, and I'm sure it works. But is it? I mean, because really, if you look at a lot of that body work, I mean, it's not identically the same, but Wayne Felch back in BK 4 or 5 when he came out with the and I got to show you that picture. I'll send you a picture tonight. I'll find
Yeah,
it.
no, I'd love to see it.
It set the UAS on its nose. I mean, it was for a couple seasons, it was the talk of. I mean, people hated it. They said, "Man, this ain't UAS. This thing's too wide. It's too this. It's too that. The bumpers." I mean, they hated it. But it was all within the rules. He followed the rules, but they hated it. Man,
but
because it was so
that's what
fast.
Racers do, right?
Yeah, but it was so fast. But what nobody realizes is he spent probably 3 more years before that, and you or I or anybody else, we would have kicked it off a cliff. I mean, he had so many problems, and he kept saying, "Man, this thing is gonna be fast. If I can get it to live, it'll be fast." And my God, I mean, you or I, we would have said, we'd have said, "Screw it. I'm done.
Yeah.
This is
right.
I'm done. Give me a padded room. I've just had enough. I can't take it." But he stuck with it, and I mean, everybody saw. To this day, I still think it would be very hard to beat. I mean, very hard to beat. So.
Well, and I think, like we talked about the other day, I think so much of racing is what you see. Oh man, that guy's fast and he has that. I got to have that.
Right. And
is that true? Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Like you said, does it work for him or does it work for you?
Right. Well, like Chase dominated the boot with that thing, right? Well.
Oh yeah.
But really, was that body? Or I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. And Diotti shows up with the front wing last year. That's all he had. But then you look at Stansberry, and he didn't have any of that, and he won the Nationals.
Right.
So I mean, so go figure. I don't know. I mean, I'm not dogging it. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just wondering how much
you
of
have
that?
to have it.
How much? Yeah. How much is that? Are you not going to win if you don't have that? I mean, Wes Snow ran that thing 2 races. Well, was that just that body, or was that Wes's motor? Was that Wes's setup? Would he have done the same thing without that body?
Exactly.
That I don't know. But
and that's a great thing about racing, Terry, is it keeps us guessing. There's always something around the corner that we're trying to find.
Yeah. I mean, and like everything, right? They say, this too shall pass. Because look at Wayne's deal, right? I mean, those motors, I don't think that kart was built, and it was built to run at Salem. Those small bull rings. I mean, God, you've never seen anything go forward in all your life like this thing, but it was built for that. I mean, but he took it to the big tracks, and I mean, yeah, he performed okay, but it just wasn't the same, and so.
Right.
There's always that, it's built for this and that, and so you just never know. But nonetheless, there's going to be a lot of cool karts there. There's going to be a lot of snow glass floating around there.
Yep, I bet you're right.
And it's going to be, I don't know, but then you run the risk of, now it all looks alike, right? But doesn't it now? I mean, so, I mean, there again, it's just, it goes, you could go on and on and on and on and on. But
Yep.
But to get a little taste of it, you got to come out to the Salem Speedway tomorrow for Slideways Saturday. That's just all there is to it. You get to see Double M roll, one of the hosts of the Northwest Race Report, which is cool. And man, I just hope the turnout is good. I really do.
Me too. And that's what we're trying to do is help Jason, get numbers up.
Exactly.
And again, it's one of those things. I don't know. There's an easy answer to it.
There isn't. I mean, but know this: Bob Leach is watching, and if it turns out to be where it gets anything Albany,
right?
Jason even said it'll be gone. It'll be gone as quick as Albany went, and then what? So that's that's yet to be seen. I mean, and that's not a threat. That's just the truth, right? I just think
it's reality.
Bob's just not going to continue to, support it if he's only going to get 30 guys total. I mean, that's just not going to work.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. And I think you said that here a couple of shows ago. It is. It's a business. I mean, it's nothing personal, but. So anyway, well, you're going to be taking off about 7, right? And you've got everything
I'm
loaded, ready?
Yep.
Good.
We're all cart's already down there, so I just gotta bring my helmet and show up. We'll get some laps. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So what about the 19th? Are you going to make that? Because next weekend, not this weekend, but then the next weekend, we're back there at Salem Speedway. Slideways Saturday is. And then
I'm trying to get out of work, but I don't know that it's going to happen. I might have to miss that one, unfortunately.
What about then we go after Thanksgiving, I think it's the 26th there. The Northwest Ford Focus Midgets are going to be there at the indoor.
And that's cage kart weekend, correct?
That is going to be, yes.
Yep.
But I want to say, no, it is all them, all weekend, I do believe. But I want to say that's a show you probably don't want to miss.
No, that's going to be, I'm actually wanting to go to that because I've never seen those Ford Focus Midgets roll, and I think it would be fantastic. It looks like a great show.
You know what? I think they are going to put on a great show. I mean, seriously, they're their numbers are incredible, and so they're going to have that's on the 26th, 27th, Saturday, Sunday, cage karts, micro sprints, Pro 4s, mini stocks, and dwarfs, and the Northwest Ford Focus Midget. So you'll get to see Renee Angel there, because and by the way, people, you hearing this? If you want a pretty awesome turnkey operation for a cage kart, Renee's is for sale. So
a lot of stuff, man. That's a good deal.
And it's all good stuff. There's not a piece of junk in it. So anyway, with that, so the next 3 weekends going to be some good stuff at Salem Speedway. So we're hoping it goes on. But that's good. Maybe the 26th you'll be able to join us and we can do a show from
that'd be fun.
The Focus Midget deal, and we'll make that happen. Well, hey, Mike, I'll let you get to bed. I know you got to get up early, and everybody else is I got to get up early, and so we got to kind of wind it down. But man, any last words you want to say to anybody? Get them out there.
No, I just think that I think if people come out, especially spectators, if they just come out and watch and look at the show, I think they'll be back. It's one of those things we just got to put some butts in the seats, and it's going to get more people involved, and it's going to grow our sport, and that's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. Salem Speedway tomorrow, folks. Gates open at 8, and racing will get underway probably roughly about noontime. Hot laps are going to be at 11, so make sure you're there. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it, Mike. Looking forward to seeing you there, watching you roll. And, hey, we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Cool, man. See you tomorrow.
Okay, Mike. Thanks a lot.
Race Report.
You still there?